Psnprofiles.com is rotten at its core, and it's about time we expose it. If you've never heard of this website before, consider yourself lucky. On the surface, it's a hub to track PlayStation achievements, chase leaderboards, compare speedrun times, and swap gaming tips and tricks within the community. It might sound like a gamer's dream, until the staff turn it into an absolute nightmare. I recently received a bunch of cheating allegations against my name, which later resulted in a complete ban from the website after I defended myself. This isn't some isolated spat with me, it's a pattern screwing over gamers left and right since as early as 2016. The staff have turned this niche little hobby into a cesspit of lies, a hostile battleground where certain staff play favorites, free speech gets censored, threads get unnecessarily locked, users arbitrarily receive bans and warnings, which in turn intimidate the community into silence further. The staff quite literally run wild, dragging names through the mud, while an absent site owner lets it all slide, too checked out to give a rat's ass. No oversight, no accountability, just a power vacuum where toxicity thrives. This is a wake-up call for every gamer and trophy hunter out there. If after this video at least one person leaves with an understanding of what truly goes on here, and looks at the staff and the website in a different light, then it's worth the effort I put into this video. So stick with me, I'm about to unpack the demoralizing truth about the Psnprofiles staff, what they don't want you to know, why nobody's safe here, and why you could be next. This is bigger than just one ban, it's about a community betrayed. First, I need to set the stage and give some backstory to our cast of villains here. There are two main roles on Psnprofiles, one being the cheater removal team, CRT for short, who are supposed to remove cheated trophies or accounts from the website statistics so that they're not included in the overall calculations on the site. And we have the Moderators, who are obviously supposed to moderate the forum by enforcing restrictions and banning bad actors from spamming garbage on the website. Now, on the surface, these staff roles make a lot of sense. However, with great power comes great responsibility, and this power has been abused to not only slander people, but to censor and cover up this slander. And any attempt from the community to speak up about what they're witnessing is swiftly deleted and covered up by these users in power. Also, a bit of clarification regarding the term flagged. For those that are not aware, being flagged on PSNP is the same as being convicted of cheating games or trophies. When you are flagged, you do not appear anywhere on the site's statistics for any game. No recent players, no achiever list, no fastest time ranking, and of course no points leaderboard. You essentially turn into a ghost and have no presence on the website. Without further ado, I want to dive into each staff member, starting with Parker. Starting off as clean as possible. This moderator is hardly around to enforce anything, which has led to them having a fairly clean track record over time. Usually when the community hears from Parker, it is sincere and doesn't come from a place of hate or prejudice. I really don't have anything bad to say about Parker, and I commend them for not participating in the destruction of the community. Stevieboy is a mixed bag. It depends if you catch him on a good day or a bad one. He has been spotted censoring threads and deleting posts, where all that had taken place was open discussion and free speech. Stevieboy has also issued bans to users who speak out against the corruption and voice their concerns, indicating a larger cover-up and malicious intent behind the scenes. I don't want to spend too much time covering Stevie. These two are quite tame compared to the rest, and I understand that Stevieboy is just trying to do their job and suppress the drama. But regardless, it's still not okay to issue bans due to criticisms with other staff and the site as a whole. It just makes the site look even worse. So, Squirlruler at the moment is quite absent. They are honestly the most respected CRT member, not due to their actions, rather lack thereof. Similar to Parker and Stevie, this guy is hardly around to enforce anything. Not only that, they also ran off to create their own trophy tracking website. So it's safe to say this guy is basically completely absent on Psnprofiles currently. I also haven't heard about them muddying the waters anymore, which is a clear indicator that they've stopped participating with the website. However, there is one very important thing I need to mention. Members of the community maintain that Squirlruler is the one that created the cheater detection algorithm for PSNP, which could point to them being the reason why all these false accusations happen in the first place. But later in the video, you'll see why we can't completely put the blame onto Squirlruler for creating potentially faulty software, since there is definitely some degree of malicious intent from the other CRT members. but it's very interesting that the guy that supposedly created this quote-unquote cheated detection algorithm doesn't enforce said detections themselves, almost as if they're trying to distance themselves from accountability. But to be honest, there isn't much evidence to support that they are the one that created the algorithm, just a few high-ranking members vouching that this is true. Since the first release of this video, SlyRipper, the owner of Psnprofiles, has stated that Squirrel never made any algorithm or code for him, but I cannot look past the other evidence that Squirrel has allegedly told others, so again, take this with a massive grain of salt and speculation, but we will likely not know for sure unless Squirrel directly comes out himself and explains. Ask yourselves why our Squirlruler would leave to create his own website, if he is already an established staff member on Psnprofiles. This is his opportunity to voice his frustrations with Psnprofiles too. Here is where we amp up the censorship a bit. Similar to Stevieboy, there have been numerous cases where Beyond the Grave has censored posts, deleted threads, and issued bans as well, just at a more frequent and unjustifiable level. There have also been times where it was questioned why something was deleted or why other staff members are allowed to insult users, which result in that person speaking up receiving a suspension as well in retaliation. I had a section here going into the online footprint of a user by the name of Beyond the Grave 07, who shares the exact same ID as Beyond the Grave 07, and in case it wasn't obvious, these are the exact same name, even down to the 7 and the 0. This Twitter account links to a Twitch account, which links to a Discord community, which leads to Beyond the Grave 07, who is also not Beyond the Grave 07. I understand that this is extremely confusing, so let's create a table to compare the two. So I'll call this one PSMP Beyond the Grave, and I'll call this one Beyond the Grave's doppelganger. So the PSMP Beyond the Grave has the PSN ID Beyond the Grave 07, and the doppelganger has the PSN name Beyond-the Grave 7. However, the doppelganger has the name Beyond the Grave 07 as his Discord ID, Twitch ID, Twitter name, Instagram handle, League of Legends name, TikTok, even the Xbox name shares similarities. They're also both in the USA, both share very similar interests, even down to both sharing an affinity for blue-haired characters. So, is one of them impersonating the other, or are they both the same person? Regardless, it is an insane coincidence that they both share the same name, even down to the 0 and the 7, and they both share very similar interests to the point where they could be brothers. The Psnprofiles staff have definitely convicted others for less, and without making it too long, this Smith guy was convicted of cheating, and the main source of evidence was this guy's PSN name has Smith in it, and another username with Smith on a trophy hacking website, and this Smith commenting on games the original Smith was playing on around the time, but it could have just as easily been someone else impersonating them, right? Or someone out to get them, or just another insane coincidence. The same situation is grave. More malicious stories have come out since the first iteration of this video, and I hope more continues to pour in. In my mind, the odds of these being two different people is astronomically low, but to give the benefit of the doubt, I have completely replaced this section. So what do you think? Are they the same person, or is it an insane coincidence? I'll let the viewer decide. DaivRules is hands down the most hated moderator on the site, and has been nicknamed to DaivRules by the community. This is due to them abusing their power to censor quite literally anything and ban users for seemingly no real reason, including, but not limited to, users defending themselves from cheating allegations, standing up for their peers, and criticisms regarding how the site is run. One user received a ban for a week for reacting to a post, which is a built-in feature on the website, by the way. This is just absolutely insane. If this isn't proof of abuse of power, I don't know what is. Usually, when their authority and abuse of power claims enter the spotlight, all of the moderators blame it on, "We do this in our free time. The admin doesn't pay us." Okay, listen up. This might surprise you, but not being paid is not a valid reason for doing a bad job. Deleting posts that aren't worthy of deletion and issuing bans aggressively just paints them as bullies with a hint of intimidation, and all three of these moderators are guilty of this. Okay, now we're getting to the juicy bits. So for a very, very long time, GrimeyDog has been mass approving cheater reports, either without reading the report, or just simply doing it for an ego boost. There have been numerous instances over the years where they have done this, with an "oops, my finger slipped" attitude. The most notable and memorable instance of this is when a ton of users got flagged for, and I quote, "pedophile hacker and accomplice false ad." Okay, What? If this is somehow not proof of negligence from this staff member, please enlighten me how on earth he's got approved in the first place. Oh, but Den, people make mistakes. Grimy just made a mistake. At what point does a mistake turn into gross incompetence or malicious intent? This is not the first instance of Grimy mass approving reports without doing the due diligence that each report deserves, nor is it likely to be the last going forward. The situation gets better. This sparked a huge debate on how these reports got approved in the first place. Stevieboy spoke up about the situation, and I quote, "This flag is one of the reasons the CRT and PSNP gets criticism. This smells so much like an approval situation. There is no way this flag should have ever been approved manually. Just feels like the CRT had a big backlog of reports to go through, and someone just decided to approve them all to get rid of them, with the attitude of that they can dispute them and it'll get cleaned up then. I hope I'm wrong with that deduction though. If I'm right, then the CRT needs more members to be able to properly handle the amount of reports it gets." Okay, great points. However, you cannot fix negligence by adding more cooks to the kitchen. The way that you fix a situation like this is by removing the negligent party involved, so this sort of thing does not happen again and again and again. Later, this thread with everyone's comments in it got censored and erased by God knows who, but it probably wasn't Stevieboy given they participated in the thread. This caused the discussion to move on to other places. And for some reason, this aftermath is not deleted, which is incredibly surprising given the track record of the staff covering up their actions. But the big concern here with mass approving reports like this is with the flagged users that don't even know the site exists, or the users that don't use the site anymore. They are not going to fight back against the claims since they aren't even aware of the claims. So let me provide a bit of context here and explain how the site was originally created for anyone that doesn't know. When a user was added to the website, it would go through the user's friends list and add those users to the site as well. Then it would go through their friends and do the same thing, and then it would go through their friends, and so on, like a virus. So one person being added to the site could result in thousands being indexed. There were over 500,000 accounts added to PSNP within a few short months of the site's creation back in 2011. With that in mind, there are a lot of indexed accounts on the site that don't even know the site's existence. Most quote-unquote tracked users aren't even registered. You can do an experiment yourself. Go to any page on the leaderboard after about 2,000 or so, which is the top 2% of players. Open a few profiles at random, and on average about 50% of the accounts will not be registered users, and that percentage only gets larger the deeper you go on the leaderboard. So, back to what I was saying. When GrimyDog jumps online and decides to approve a few hundred reports without reading them, this will undoubtedly result in a massive influx of wrongfully approved reports. And if the majority of the PSN accounts aren't even monitored by the owners on the site, there is going to be no dispute from the accused. No dispute equals the wrongfully applied flag stays applied, and the situation gets quietly swept under the rug. Until Grimy decides to do it again, of course, then history just repeats itself. As a side note, Grimy decided to do a giveaway one time. A noble thing to do, sure, maybe to try and earn some street cred from the community. Besides for the fact they never ended up picking the winners and just closed the thread, which left users feeling rug pulled. I guess it's not a big deal, just a little bit disingenuous, but yeah, think of that what you will. Between these next two, they're quite similar, but each have their own set of traits to dive into. Starting off with Burvine. Without a doubt, not only is Burvine the most hated CRT member, they are the most hated member in the community. This guy has approved a ton of false reports too, not on the same oops mass approve level as Grimy, more on a personal grudge level. If a report comes in and this guy doesn't like you, consider your number up. Or let's say you call him a bad word on the forum or get under his skin somehow, he will make sure you're done for, plain and simple. Burvine has unapproved the bulk of the custom servers the community is dying to use, with a less than satisfactory reasoning for each one, citing piracy as a reason for a lot of them among other rubbish that he refuses to properly elaborate on. At the same time, he quietly loiters in the Discord servers for these unapproved custom servers, not posting or interacting with them at all, but they're sitting in there to presumably catch or witch hunt users that participate in them, to flag them as cheaters on PSN profiles. So Burvine can use this as an excuse to flag even more legitimate users, gatekeeping what users are allowed to play and do. Burvine's ego comes first. Their arrogance and dismissive attitude towards the criticisms of their actions has led them to being very hated within the community. Their false accusations and guilty until proven innocent approach to reports has led them to making many enemies and trolls out of otherwise normal users. Due to Burvine's lack of self-awareness and narcissistic personality, they have also publicly shared their first and last name, a mugshot of their face, their general location, and their age online, which is an incredibly foolish mistake to make given how many enemies they've made. This short and scathing meme circulated by members of the community says it all, and illustrates the light Burvine has come to be seen in.
I promise if I get elected to PSN profiles, I'll drain the CRT swamp and put B. Irvine in prison.
Just how poor of a forum moderator and antagonizer does one have to be to attract this level of impassioned disgust? When Burvine eventually saw this meme, they shrugged it off as, I must be doing something, right? They don't even see the thousands of users they've pissed off along the way. Burvine does not care about how bad their reputation suffers due to their actions, and they care even less about the community they are burning. MMDE is very similar to Burvine in terms of attitude and their actions. However, MMDE has made it painfully clear that they are the ringleader of this entire operation. The most damning piece of evidence to this is right here. This screenshot is from a Discord server created by MMDE. And here is a list of the Slander Syndicate, a shady hole where the bad actors of the CRT and their inner circle congregate. It is highly likely some of the lies and plots to witch hunt users they dislike originate from here, such as the character assassinations and public attacks, illegitimate cheating accusations, and other defamation that is regularly seen in deleted disputes and censored forum posts, all ferment behind these closed doors. I'm sure the involvement from each individual varies. This screenshot is a couple years old at this point, and this list is definitely outdated too. Regardless, I would be very careful interacting with any of these individuals, as if you get on their bad side, it could be detrimental to your reputation through the use of false reporting and defamation. Some of these users are relentless and will stop at nothing to make sure someone's reputation is tarnished. This Discord server goes directly against what the CRT have said in the past about them not having bias. This is clear evidence that they do, in fact, have bias. I would love to see them still maintain they operate without bias after this knowledge is in the public eye. Another great example of them being the one calling the shots here is regarding the Army of Two 40th Day situation. To give the quickest rundown possible, there was an unobtainable trophy in the game for a long time. Someone by the name of Executioner Zero created a workaround for it, where you could forcibly upload an image required to earn the trophy to your EA account via an external website they created. When EA announced the servers of the game for shutdown, Executioner Zero's website was called into question. Executioner ended up sharing the source code to the CRT to get it approved. MMDE approved it 3 days before the server closure date. A ton of people swarmed to the games online to get it done before the servers closed. It's not very often the CRT approves something after all. Roughly a day and a half afterwards, Burvine comes on and says the decision to approve it wasn't unanimous, and MMDE was too hasty to allow it. Burvine essentially gets MMDE to retract approving it, but the damage had already been done at this point due to the sheer volume of people that were rushing to get the game done. They actually tried to flag people for doing the thing that MMDE just approved. From my understanding, they gave everyone a free pass on it, realizing they kind of fucked up by approving it in the first place. CRT ended up blaming Executioner Zero and flagging him for the Army of Two situation, I guess out of sheer frustration for not having control over the situation. This didn't sit right with anyone in the community and there was backlash. So they unflagged it and went after his Plants vs Zombies on Vita instead. To my knowledge, he is still flagged for it. I'm guessing they always planned on retracting approving it, that way they could flag more legit players and sweep it all under the rug. However, I think they underestimated how popular the game would become in that instance. There was a lot of urgency towards it since there was only 3 days left before the server closure and news spread like wildfire. And I think you needed 8 people for the multiplayer portion of it anyway. I reached out to Executioner Zero to get their side of the story, and since the first version of this video released, they actually replied and gave me a statement. So he confirmed everything I just went over. He wasn't even aware they approved it though, and it appears Burvine would flag his army of 2, then MMDE would lift it, Burvine would flag it, MMDE would lift it, repeatedly until Burvine gave up and went after his Plants vs Zombies instead. Executioner says he created a dispute for Plants vs Zombies, then it was closed shortly after Mr. Zizic made some comments the mods didn't like. He then received a rather aggressive message from Burvine. I don't want to read this out like a bedtime story, but how does Burvine think that they are justified here? They were the only ones standing between people playing the game or not playing the game. The source code was already given out, but yet he still refused to approve it. Isn't that the whole argument? Open source it or it's unapproved? Look at what is being gatekept. A PNG, from being uploaded to EA's servers. That is all. Burvine had no grounds to flag Executioner for Plants vs Zombies after not getting his way, flagging Executioner's army of 2. Yet he still did it anyway and gave them no room to defend themselves, evidenced by the locked or deleted dispute. And situations like this is the reason why people dogpile on Burvine so much, and have an extreme dislike for the guy. He's just a jerk and a bully. MMDE has played favourites with who they convict as well. Here is a report for Hakum's Dead to Rights retribution. This report would have been approved if everyone was treated equally, but it wasn't. This report was just discarded. They do not hold everyone to the same standards, which is borderline corruption. Here is another issue with Hakum's trophies. With Bioshock Japan, it is impossible to earn the trophy for acquiring all upgrades for all weapons before entering Cohen's room, as there is an upgrade station inside of Cohen's room. Again, if this was anyone else's trophy list, they would have been railroaded into hiding the game and accused of cheating it. Since the first iteration of this video, the owner of Pocket PSN, name taken, has come forward and confirmed the speculation of MMDE network attacking websites. They attempted an SQL injection on Pocket PSN some months ago back in October of 2024. Name taken also stated that he sent a cease and desist to both SlyRipper and MMDE regarding the attack, to which only Sly replied with a shrugging emoji. As a result of their actions, MMDE is banned from Pocket PSN, and SlyRipper should really give a proper statement regarding his staff's behaviour other than a dismissive emote. This looks incredibly unprofessional on his part and looks even worse for MMDE being the attacker. But overall, MMDE's general smug and condescending attitude has left a lot of members feeling targeted and betrayed, especially regarding the private Discord they've created. So to recap, these three have shown very little or next to no regard for the community and the mental toll it takes on someone to have your name not only dragged through the mud, but to be wrongfully convicted and to be branded a cheater forever. They have shown they have very little sympathy and lack empathy towards their victims, and thrive on diminishing the reputation of others. Then you have the forum janitors that come along and sweep everything under the rug. But hey, if you don't believe what I'm saying, I encourage you to do your own research. Ask other members of the community what they think, or hell, go ask an AI like Grok or ChatGPT. It's mind-blowing to me that even an AI can see the controversy surrounding these individuals. With all this in mind, next I'll be presenting my own poorly handled dispute with them that occurred recently, which is the main reason why this video exists in the first place. But before I dive into it, I need to stress that even though I am a victim myself in this situation, this video is not about me. I don't care what they've said about me publicly or behind closed doors. They've constantly dragged my name through the mud, stomped me down at every opportunity, and they will likely continue to do so even after this video is released. I have tried to reason with them many times, but you cannot reason with narcissists. So at some point in early December 2024, I got falsely flagged for Far Cry 2. The reason was, servers are closed. On December 7th, 2024, I created a dispute for the claim. The servers for the game went down in early February of 2023 and have not recovered ever since. Here are my timestamps for the online trophies, and if you notice, they were earned mid-January of 2023. This was a few weeks before the servers went offline, and here is footage of the grindiest trophy in the online being earned. I stand by my comment here. This report was approved negligently, and I'm sure you could guess who approved it, but for now let's continue. We then have a comment from Hunting Fever, confirming they went down in February of 2023, then rambles on saying it won't be lifted because it means I played on custom servers for the game, which to my knowledge wasn't even a thing back then, so this guy didn't even look at the earn dates alongside the CRT who approved this. I then call him out on his mistake. We then have a rare instance where Hunting Fever admits he was wrong for a change. Up next, we have Divided by Mankind, who bulk reports people who earn online trophies for Far Cry 2, hence why he is unsure if they reported me in this case, as they report a lot of users. I stand by what I replied with here. Imminent File chimed in and basically said the report was bogus. This comment backing me up was later deleted, presumably by DaivRules. This is on topic and isn't insulting anyone. This should not have been removed. But, moving on. Another comment, also deleted by staff, presumably by DaivRules. Then we have someone jump into the dispute and talk about something completely unrelated to the report. It is very clear that this guy hasn't even touched the online for Far Cry 2, otherwise he would know about the EXP wraparound that 99% of people who did this online utilized. For the record, if any comment is worthy of deletion here, it is this. This is completely unrelated to the report reason and just complicates the narrative. If you don't know anything about the game, you shouldn't be giving advice about the flag for said game. These two explain the EXP wraparound thing to the troublemaker. Another guy expressed that the CRT told him to cheat a game at one point. This comment got deleted, presumably by DaivRules. Another comment, I'll let you read it for yourselves, also deleted by someone on staff. A comment from Hooray for Tyler, assuming Hunting Fever was the original reporter, which, I mean, it could have been, but who knows. Then, oh boy, here comes my verdict. Okay, first of all, no. Second, I'm using this as an opportunity to promote sites now. How am I doing that exactly? Besides showing how bad this one is? What a ridiculous comment to make. So overall, this actually got unflagged through this kangaroo court. But there are a few things that I want to address. 1. These comments should not have been deleted. Maybe Bell's comment I can understand, but the rest should not have been deleted. 2. The comment from the guy that doesn't even know about the game should have been tossed in the trash. Not only is what they're talking about off topic, not the reason for the flag, but they themselves clearly haven't played this game. Otherwise they would know about this method. So I ask again, why can someone who hasn't touched the game before jump in on the discussion and muddy the waters? If you don't know about the game, don't add fuel to the fire. It's as simple as that. 3. I want to address who most likely approved the flag. We know Squirlruler is absent, so we can cross him off the list. Burvine just said it wasn't his flag, and MMDE on Discord said that it shouldn't be flagged by his doing. Through the process of elimination, it's safe to assume it was Grimy Dog who approved it, and based off of his track record of not reading reports, this makes a lot of sense. Also around this time, just before Christmas, he approved a bunch more reports wrongfully, so the timeline fits. This report is from someone who got hit by the mass approve wave of his, and they have intentionally not disputed it to see if this wrongfully applied flag got removed without input, which has not happened and has been like this for at least 3 months. Anyway, this is where things sat for a while, until I got flagged again. On February 10th, 2025, this time I got flagged for Rayman Legends on the Vita and Black Ops 3 on PS3. For Rayman Legends, the claim is that it's impossible to earn the final level of awesomeness trophy after the servers took a dump. Anyone familiar with this game knows that if you got the online done before the servers went down, you could finish the story and pop the trophy. This is not what happened with me in this case, but regardless, due to this fact alone, it should not have been approved in the first place. I'll go into more detail on this a bit later. As for Black Ops 3, first of all, I'm not reading all of this out. You can pause the video and take a read of it for yourself, and my comments addressing the report if you'd like, but basically, the claim is that the online isn't possible to do anymore because you need to have the characters unlocked and one of the wildcards. The servers for Black Ops 3 Old Gen have an issue with unlock tokens. When you try to use them, the console will freeze. This includes unlocking the characters and the wildcard required. However, if you already have the stuff unlocked to earn the trophies, then the trophies are still obtainable. The Black Ops 3 servers are still up. Here is a roll of the screenshots of the trophies popping. I have censored the names of the others I played with, so they also do not get harassed by PSMP goons. Okay, here we go. First comment backing me up. Boom, deleted. Another comment backing me up. Boom, deleted. Another comment backing me up. And this guy is using Burvine's face. This comment, surprisingly, is not deleted. A comment from me. I stand by what I said here. Someone else backing me up. Quote, "If this flag isn't lifted, it would undoubtedly indicate a conspiracy against you. Let that be clear." Well, sir, not only did the situation escalate, your comment got censored. Boom, deleted. Chen questioning Rayman Legends. I go into detail about this later, but around this time, this is when someone decided to spam shock material all over the website, with Burvine's face no less. This was plastered all over the website for about 6 to 7 hours before any moderators got online and dealt with the situation. Amidst all of this, I explained the Rayman situation. Basically, you can convert your single-player cups into online cups and erase your single-player progress, enabling you to complete the game. Sometime later, Burvine got online, went through the dispute, likely saw his face plastered everywhere, deleted nothing, including the shock material, and also said nothing, reapplied my Far Cry 2 flag from December, and just left the site. Later, when the moderators got online, they over-censored the thread and locked it. So, I made the status update. Please take a read for yourself. And here are the comments from that. And surprise, surprise, all of this got deleted. So I made another status update. Why did my status update get removed? Nothing bad was said. I don't even have a dispute anymore to post in. One is locked, one is deleted. I cannot generate a new one since I've been blocked from doing that. Not a word from staff regarding this situation. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I stand by what I said here. The situation was absolutely ridiculous. Here are the comments from that. And Burvine gives a piss poor attempt at saving face, using the opportunity to slander me further. For the record, Sly doesn't give a rat's ass what you arrogant jerks do to the community. And there is no honor system if you can just play judge, jury, and executioner with whoever you want and provide zero reasoning. All of this was deleted. Nice attempt at covering this up, but the community took screenshots. MMDE also posted in my dispute, then locked it again so I couldn't even comment. Later, when the dispute is unlocked, you'll see me addressing the Wayback Machine. But basically, I know that the witch hunters they've recruited attempt to utilize that website as ammunition to find oddities with users' trophy lists. Not necessarily with mine, but for example, on this account I did not have Far Cry Primal or Fallout 4 synced for over a month. But hypothetically, if my account was on the Wayback Machine, they would attempt to use that as evidence of me hacking, simply because the trophies were synced late. They will use any excuse to incriminate someone, even if there's nothing wrong. Since I received questions about the Rayman Legends cup dupe, I made a tutorial going in detail and giving steps to reproduce it, which MMDE used as an opportunity to start a fight with me in my dispute and in the Rayman thread. So first up, we have someone thanking me for the tutorial, and them taking notice of how unfairly I've been treated. MMDE posts in the dispute and goes on the defensive, saying I am calling them names. All I said that may have come across as name calling was due to the sheer arrogance from the staff, which includes more than just MMDE here, so whoever was deleting posts, reapplied the Far Cry 2 flag without saying anything, probably Burvine, is not taking the situation seriously and is being arrogant. It's as simple as that. MMDE has inserted themselves in the middle of the dispute, so they're equally at fault for not rectifying any of the problems and continue to add fuel to the fire. The Rayman servers have been online for a long time. It's just the challengers not rewarding cups when the timer ran out that was the issue. But this doesn't even matter for most players, since you can still cup dupe and get the final level of awesomeness that way. What iffy stuff? I already explained why I had my profile excluded. I know about the little syndicate of character assassinators, and I am well within my right to have my account excluded from the Wayback Machine. Furthermore, it doesn't mention anywhere on the what constitutes a flag section that you're not allowed to exclude your account from the Wayback Machine. And here are the comments that followed. And then MMD locks the dispute again, because of course, so I post another status update. MMDE tries to weaponize the fact that I got wrongfully flagged last time as proof that I'm a cheater, and mentions that it was hidden, confirming the previous cover-up. I don't have a screenshot of the message here from MMDE, but they said I changed my post to a bunch of middle fingers, and looking back at the situation, MMDE and Burvine dragged my name through the mud back then and attempted to ruin my reputation, so dead ass, I would absolutely do it again. Fuck this website. Here is how the rest of the Rayman thread unfolded. As a side note, This DenDelisted guy is apparently a victim himself, but continues to add fuel to the fire and doesn't understand the issue with staff slandering others. This is a comment from them on Reddit, and they're posting this on someone else's false flag. I cannot make this stuff up. This was the final comment, before everything got censored by Stevieboy. He also locked the thread so no one could even report their findings with Rayman, and they even removed positive comments such as the first one thanking me for the tutorial. MMDE and Burvine commented on my dispute one last time before locking it again. MMDE gave up without releasing any of the wrongfully applied flags, and Burvine admits to convicting people of cheating without being 100% certain cheating is present, then pulls a random number out of thin air. And I'd hate to break it to Burvine and the community, but if you're not 100% sure something is cheated, and even if there's any possibility that something could be legitimate, you should not be labeling it as cheated. End of story. Later, Burvine retracted this comment, likely realizing the self-incrimination of admitting to applying flags without definitive proof of cheating. Someone commented on the status update I posted on MMDE's profile, and I took it into the dispute because someone, presumably one of the moderators, unlocked it. So, I addressed it in there, but the thread got locked yet again. With nowhere left to post, nowhere left to defend myself, and with an aroma of intimidation from the staff, I posted on Stevie's profile about locking the Rayman thread. DaivRules deleted the status update as well, so I reached out to him seeking answers. This is what I asked, this is what he said, this is what I said, this is what he said, and this is what I said. So with that, I added the owner of the website to the DMs and washed my hands of the situation. There's nothing else I can possibly do to defend myself here. I've been knocked down at every opportunity by the CRT, and comments being deleted by the mods. The only one who can stop this at this point is the site owner. And you know what he does? He completely removes my account from being tracked on the website and bans me from the forum. Sometime later, I reach out to him via email, and his response? Banned for spewing bullshit. I don't care for your drama. Here was my response to that statement. And all I can really say is, this drama was not created by me. If the PSNP staff weren't so corrupt, biased, and hated the community from the beginning, they wouldn't have created this drama in the first place. All I did was defend myself, and I can only hope Sly listens to this criticism and doesn't let this happen to others going forward. You might be curious as to what happened since I got banned and couldn't defend myself. Well, picking up from my last comment in the dispute, Jerry asks about the 30 creatures and all creatures trophies popping at the same time, which for these trophies they only unlock when you enter the creature room. So if you never enter it until after the game and after you've scratched all the tickets, when you enter that room for the first time, you'll get both trophies simultaneously. I don't know how to explain this quickly and easily, but I was trying to pop them exactly one day apart to the minute. I even messed it up a few times. When I earned the first Rayman Legends plat, I was basically just about starting with the Rayman Origins lists. All I had to do for the other versions was jump back on and earn an easy miscellaneous trophy. I would also leave one misc to grab for later in Rayman Origins, as I wanted to have these plats in sequential order the day after each other. Unfortunately, I was hoping to also get Rayman 3 in order as well, but I bit off more than I could chew with this game and underestimated how painful this game would be, so was not able to complete it in time, unfortunately. I've already addressed the Wayback Machine multiple times, and saying this makes zero sense because anyone can check the Wayback Machine and see that the old account was never archived there in the first place. I would wager a lot of users talk mad shit about the PSNP staff. Sly has been called lazy by nearly every PSNP veteran on the site. He still hasn't fixed the 255 trophy cat bug breaking profiles, or simple stuff like not displaying the M when a user goes over a certain number of trophies. MMDE just thinks I cheated. They've presented zero evidence and convicted me and many others based on suspicion alone, and they are misinterpreting me defending myself as a meltdown. That sounds like a them problem. What, am I not supposed to defend myself when the accusations come flying my way? Apparently all these people backing me up are just my alt accounts or something, because that makes total sense, right? Yeah, well, if it were up to me, I would have MMDE exiled from the community. They're hated by many people, and they've even expressed they get a lot of hateful messages. Maybe they should take the hint. To you watching the video, please open your eyes. They've created a syndicate of witch hunters, betrayed everyone, and slandered many users, including myself. And I hope you all open your eyes to the tyranny and corruption. It's not just cope, this is real, and they don't want the community to know about it. Well, too bad. I guess it's their turn for a meltdown. And with that, Burvine locked the dispute, used the opportunity to indirectly suggest that anyone that gets this message is cheating, unless he's saying that everyone that gets this message is for defending themselves, which I highly doubt. Let's just say it's 1 in 7.4 billion odds. Stevieboy unlocked the Rayman thread. It doesn't even matter now since I can't help people do the trick. He also reinstated some comments, just without the valid criticisms of the website, arguably the most important part of the comment. And that's basically the end of the dispute and the end of my time with PSNP. I do want to give credit where credit is due though. So Beyond the Grave surprisingly actually defended me from the claim of it being me posting all the shock material. So thanks, I guess, but it doesn't even matter. The trolls won, CRTs still think I'm a cheater, so nothing really changed. Also, the thing that they're referring to here is that the staff can see all of this. Specifically my email with the website. They can see your email, IP address, summary of your location, and navigation paths, among other information. I have no doubt that the same privilege has been given to the CRT as well, and that power has been given to the most malicious users I've ever met. It is a recipe for disaster. It is not disclosed anywhere on the website that users' emails and IP addresses are given to the staff. This information should be privileged to the site owner alone. The other staff have no right and no reason to have access to everyone's emails, especially when you consider a lot of people's emails are their first and last names. It's a breach of privacy and a breach of trust, and more people should be made aware of it. Originally, while writing the script for this video, I did not want to address anyone else's dispute here on the account of being accused of cherry-picking evidence, but I really felt the need to include it because this next one kind of hits close to home. Being a speedrunner for the game this next guy was flagged for, and this hasn't sat right with me ever since I was made aware of it. So, this guy got flagged for Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2. Random guy, by the way, I have no idea who this is. They got accused of cheating the game, not because they did the game too fast, nope, but because one of MMDE's witch hunters came after them. They got smited and unfairly removed, and the reason was the gap between the first boss and dying to a plant enemy was earned too close together. Let me explain to you why this is not cheated. So, this boss is right at the beginning of the game, right? And dying here relates to dying to one of the many plant enemies in the game. The next level right after the boss, at the very beginning, has a plant enemy. It would have taken 5 to 10 minutes to boot up the game and verify the claims from Amazing Noda about the load times, which used to be quite bad, yes, but the developers pushed an update fixing the load times quite early on in the game's release, long before the accused even started playing the game. I tested this myself and literally did this faster. You don't think someone else is capable of accidentally getting these 2 trophies like this? Give me a break. Someone else mentioned about the accused popping the 26 gold relic trophy and then 16 seconds later popping the DLC trophy for earning the gold relic in that DLC level. I debunked this as well. Well, isn't that interesting? So these trophies pop when you earn the relic at the end of the level, and this trophy pops when you return to the hub. This should have been the assumption going into the report if the CRT gave the accused the benefit of the doubt, and treated everyone as innocent until proven guilty. Oh, but the CRT can't be expected to know everything about every game. And my counter-argument to that is, Burvine literally played this game a few months before the dispute came in. There is zero excuse for negligence here on the CRT's end. Burvine ended up locking the dispute before the accused could answer. I guess they didn't want to hear what they had to say. They didn't do any research, any fact-checking or testing, and only listened to Amazing Noda, who likely reported this guy initially, which blatantly indicates prejudice and confirmation bias. Just before the previous video got taken down, Amazing Noda commented on it, saying that my results are skewed because I was using a PS5 which wasn't released at the time when the accused played it. Well, unfortunately for him, I tested this again on a PS4 Slim HDD with the disc version of the game to give myself the biggest disadvantage possible. And I got 22 seconds, which aligns closer with the accused. So for instance, if the timestamp is being rounded down, then this gap would be accurate, or if the accused was playing on a PS4 Pro or using a digital copy, it would work in the accused's favor. So politely, Mr. Noda, on behalf of everyone, f*** off. So the verdict? This guy is branded a cheater for life, I guess. This is just one other case that you can see. Imagine if the accused never made this dispute. There has to be thousands of users wrongfully accused of cheating, so in cases like this, the confirmation bias and grimy mass approving reports, it paints a very grim picture for the integrity of the leaderboards and site. Imagine the negligence towards other, more in-depth cases. This should be embarrassing to anyone that sticks up for the staff, because you're reinforcing this half-assed attitude and encourage them to not give a shit about handling reports with the responsibility and the moral integrity that it deserves. Cases like these are nothing new here, and this is why no one is safe on this website. Not speedrunners, not trophy hunters, and most definitely not even casual gamers. Also, a few days ago, Burvine changed his profile picture. This picture is from DaivRules' Twitch page, and if you remember, that guy was using Burvine's face in my dispute. His picture was removed by one of the moderators and was told not to do it again. So it's not okay for DaivRules to do this, but it's okay for Burvine to do the same without facing repercussions. Great going, Burvine. I don't know how this is supposed to make your situation better for yourself, and to be honest, this just opens the floodgates for even more people to clown on you with the photo of your face. I hope the community continues to berate you for your continued poor behavior. I wasn't sure where to include this, but additionally, between the first instance of this video and now, SlyRipper, the Psnprofiles owner, got banned from the Pocket PSN's Discord server. He had previously been sitting in there for an extremely long period of time spying on the server, and in retaliation from his recent ban, SlyRipper removed both Pocket PSN moderators, Lipper and Muttguy from Psnprofiles. From my understanding, they're both back on the site now, but it was most likely an intimidation tactic to show off their power. Not sure how this is supposed to make Sly look any better, but that's what happened anyway. Kind of crazy, because Muttguy was actually sticking up for and siding with Psnprofiles. Maybe their views of the site have changed now because of Sly's actions. But this is how it goes time and time again. Everybody thinks that everything that I've talked about here is not a problem, and that this would not happen to them, until they themselves become a victim and then they finally start opening their eyes. So I reached out to a handful of members in the community and got their views and opinions about the current state of the website. As an opportunity for them to vent out their frustrations, many of these users are highly respected members of the community. Most of them are not currently flagged on Psnprofiles, so of course I have censored their names too, to protect them from being attacked by the staff. My message to the victims. First of all, I'm sorry for what they've done to you. I truly am. But please don't feel bad about your own accomplishments. You might feel like you've been singled out or targeted, but you've just been the victim of circumstance. At the end of the day, the staff are a bunch of bullies with an ego to satisfy and a point to prove. My message to the people that do not use Psnprofiles. Steer clear of interacting with this website at all costs. If you're looking for a PlayStation community to interact with, use PlayStationTrophies.org for the forum, PSNTrophyLeaders.com for the leaderboard, and TrueTrophies or TrueAchievements.com for the guides. There are also other clones of PSNP popping up all the time, and there are more websites in development. The URLs to these websites are also banned from being posted on the Psnprofiles forum because Sly doesn't want the community to know about these other websites existing, almost as if they're scared of losing members. And while you're at it, why not exclude your PSN account from the website entirely? My message to the users that have the mindset of, who cares about the leaderboard, or just use a different website. You're looking at the situation completely wrong. It's about the principle of accusing someone of something they didn't do and then convicting them of it. It's morally unacceptable to do this, and I hope one day you see this from that perspective. My message to the cheater removal team, because I'm sure this video will reach you eventually. You have undermined the leaderboards, and with it the site's accuracy and statistics. You have eroded the trust of your own community to the point of no return. You have made thousands of enemies along the way. Your constant guilty until proven innocent approach is having dire consequences and is giving the site a very bad reputation. And to be honest, you three should feel ashamed of yourselves for the damage you have caused. My message to the moderators: stop censoring free speech and valid criticisms with the website. Most of the time disputes end up spilling out over the rest of the forum because the disputes get locked without a satisfying resolution. By censoring and suppressing the situation, you make yourselves part of the problem. Instead of deleting posts, you should be moving them to their appropriate forum location and unlocking the threads if necessary. And stop issuing suspensions for fun. I don't understand the vendetta you guys have against the community. Grow some thick skin and stop issuing suspensions for petty reasons. My message to the site admin: moderate your damn staff and start addressing criticisms with your website. Currently where things are at, everyone is ready to jump ship and move on to the next website. Unfortunately, there is not a suitable alternative yet. But as soon as there is, your site is actively going to crash. Your members will move elsewhere, and I'd hate to say it, but if the members leave, the site dies. It's as simple as that. All you and your staff are doing is giving everyone a very good reason to leave. And to be honest, it's about time you started caring. The goal of this video is not about me trying to get back on Psnprofiles. Quite the opposite, in fact. Initially, when I made this DenDelisted account, I was going to immediately remove the account from being tracked on Psnprofiles. However, I had someone mention that I should keep it on there and see how long it would take for the staff to remove me, and to document my gaming journey along the way. So when they came knocking again, I would actually be able to defend myself this time. So to answer how long it took approximately 1 year, 11 months. To be honest, I'm surprised I lasted this long, considering their inner circle knew about me shortly after the account was created, but in the end, the proof didn't even matter. They didn't care for it. The goal of this video is about me exposing their behavior and them doing this to many users over an extended period of time. My case is just one example. I gave up on the website a very long time ago after they flagged me for cheating allegations and gave me no room to defend myself the first time. I knew they would do this to me again eventually, and they will do this to others going forward in due time. The gaming community deserves better than whatever is going on here, and I hope at some point things change, but unfortunately, I firmly believe that the only way things will change is if the site changes ownership and the current staff are replaced. It has become uncontrollably corrupt, and the only way to fix it is out with the old and in with the new. You unflag everyone and generate new reports for them, and do things properly this time around. I don't know if this comment from MMDE is directed at me, but I agree with whoever said this. So what happens next with PSNP then? Well, one of four things will happen. Either they will come out and slander me further and fabricate a bunch of evidence to try win the community over, to which all I ask is that you do your own research and don't listen to what they say at face value. They admit they messed up and attempt to fix the community they've broken. Highly unlikely. Sly steps in, acknowledges the corruption, and hands the site over to more capable members of the community. They just keep quiet, accept the criticism, create more victims and enemies going forward, which, let's be real, this is probably what's going to happen. The CRT's actions are already having potentially irreversible consequences on the community, and it needs to stop. The bullying needs to stop. The confirmation bias needs to stop. The false accusations needs to stop. After the first video being privacy struck, The Psnprofiles staff, who are the sole subjects of this video, haven't made much of an effort to address the conclusions I have drawn about them, or even defend themselves against the evidence which is stacked against them. Instead, they seem to have a grudge against the messenger. They are ignoring the mountains of evidence, screenshots, and testimony from the community. They instead focus on me and post disparaging comments. I guess I've earned some infamy points. As if their dislike of me and a few insults will disqualify the discussion and make the issues magically disappear. The PlayStation community needs to take a stance. Put aside your gripes with me and whether or not you think I'm a cheater. Like I said, this video is not about me. Anyone could have made this video. I'm not saying everyone flagged is innocent, but there is definitely a large amount of wrongfully convicted people, human beings, with emotions, that cannot rightfully defend themselves. It's not okay to do this stuff to people. I've seen so many fall victim to the injustices of this website, and I'm sure many others have witnessed this as well. I know a lot of you have been waiting on this video for a while, and I apologize for the wait, but I hope it was worth it. There was a lot that I didn't get to include in here. I'm pushing the video length as it is, but if I ever make an iceberg video going over the site, I'll be sure to include what I missed. Again, if at least one person walks away from this video with an understanding of the tyranny that happens here behind closed doors, and looks at the staff and the website in a different light, then it's worth the effort. If you've been wrongfully accused of cheating and removed on Psnprofiles, please leave a message down below. I want to hear your story. If you know someone who's been attacked by the staff, share this video to them. They're not alone, and this might give them the courage they need to stand up for themselves. Or heck, just share this video around to people that need an eye-opener to what's really going on the site. And hey, on the bright side, since I'm finally free from the shackles of PSNP, I am now free to go play Black Ops 2 without fear of being labeled a cheater for it, which is one positive outlook, I guess. If you made it this far, thanks for watching and thanks for sticking around. And don't let PSNP walk all over the community. Take care, guys.